good morning to everyone. This is another virtual lecture. Actually, this is virtual lecture number 2 about international trade. So this is for my back 16 students. No? Now, this is about theories of international trade. Sa mga teorya. Now, on the board, you will find nga do not classical theories na apote modern theories. No? Sa classical, you have mercantilism, absolute advantage, and then comparative advantage. Dayon, i-take up lang nako ang modern theory kining Heckscher-Ohlin theory, product cycle theory, and then country strategic theory, and then global strategic rivalry, and then Porter. So, dili maka-importante. Kaya naging Heckscher-Ohlin theory o product life cycle theory. Una siya ang pamilyar gi kaayo pero nimo ni makita nimo ni pirmi sa sa textbook. So theories of international trade. Unsa man ang mercantilism? Now, ang mercantilism, it is a theory where the accumulation of wealth, this was actually developed by John Baptiste Colbert, sometimes known as Colbertism or sometimes known as cameralism, no? Colbertism or cameralism. Pero kung tanawin mo sa history, ang common gikan nga term na is mercantilism. So, unsa man mercantilism? Actually, it's based on the philosophy that wealth is power. At that time, in the 17th century, the best form of wealth was silver and gold. In other words, in order for a country to become powerful, it must accumulate wealth. And that means silver and gold. So that is how trade is actually was based. It is based on trade surplus by accumulation of wealth. Okay? So, familiar mo ng mercantilism kay sa atong Spanish era mo sa na regime in the Philippines. Ang tuyo ginato is 3G, gold, gospel, and sa ba to? Basta kay isa gid ana is gold. Ulahin na si Ron ng gospel. Dayon mo na mercantilism, no? Wealth is power and the best form of wealth is gold and silver. In other words, for a nation to become powerful, it must accumulate wealth through trade surplus. Sa ato pa, ang emphasis was export. Less kaayo ang import. Okay? So, trade surplus, that means export more and less of import. So, muna mercantilism. Okay. Another classical theory is absolute advantage. This is producing goods based on specialization. Okay, mag-specialize ka. So, unsa man gi-specialize? Mga produkto nga there is comparative efficiency. For example, labi na abundant ba nang abundance. Example sa Saudi Arabia, oil, di ba? Colombia and Venezuela, marag coffee man sila. Venezuela lagi po na sila oil. Pero I believe marag coffee ang ilang specialization. And then sa Zambia, that is somewhere around North Africa, Zambia na. Ang ila pong specialization is copper. So, mulang absolute advantage, no? Producing based on specialization when there of products that the country has the comparative efficiency. In other words, do I say relatively abundant ba? Now, comparative advantage, this is another classical theory. This was popularized by David Ricardo. I will just write the name. David Ricardo. Ganahan ko siyang name. David Ricardo. It is the tendency for a country to export goods in which it has the export goods that are cheaper to produce at home and import those goods that are expensive to produce. So mo tendency daw sa usa ka nasud nga mo export og goods nga barato i-produce. Dayon i-import ka to mga produkto, i-import meaning we have to buy that are expensive. Now, one requirement sa comparative advantage is that two countries will have the benefit kaya ang isa ka country ga-export at the same time ga-import. On the other side of the market, ang importer at the same time exporter. So both countries will actually mutually has mutual advantage. Muna comparative advantage. For example, in this case, you have two countries, country A and country B, right? Country A can produce product X 3 units. Country B can produce 5 units. Sa product Y, country A can produce 1 unit. Country B can produce 4 units. So 3 divided by 1, that is 3. 1 divided by 3, that is 0.33. Right? 0.33. 0.33. So, mas barato lugar diri kung ang country A mag-specialize o product Y. Pero mas barato sa country B mag-specialize o product X. In other words, country A will export to country B what product? Product because it costs only 0.33 while ang country B mag-export dito sa A product X. So both countries will enjoy the benefit of trade. Why? Because each would be selling products that are cheaper, that have been cheaper. No? So that's the beauty of comparative advantage. Sa absolute advantage, dili ni siya require nga nga analysis. Kinahanglan nga nakay relative abundance. Sample sa Colombia and Venezuela, abundant yung coffee. So barato ang coffee sa ila. Ang ice cream. Sa Saudi Arabia, ang oil. Then sa Zambia, copper. Na today, maragdagan ay bago lang nga ang Philippines daw has a plenty of rare earth materials, mineral rare earth na magamit sa bagong IT. So, posible nga 10 years from now, grabe kay kasapian ng Pilipinas. Tungod aning rare earth, which is, of course, ang kusog karon ang China tungod sa rare earth, pero lupigon pa na siya sa atong supply. Gawa sa natural gas na pagitay rare earth. So, kung maayo lang gid ang atong panggobyerno, dili lang collab, I believe na maayo ang future no, sa atong mga apo someday. So, so much for classical theory. No? Anita sa muambag ta dito sa sa modern theory. Kining Hex-Keir Ullem theory, ang abundance of natural resources and human resources. Natural resources which is land, labor, and capital. So kung abundant ang lugar ang imong natural resources, poor kayo ang imong human resources, ang tendency is mag-export ang country o raw materials ba? Dili kayo man siya kay pan man siya. Rich and abundant man siya sa land or natural resources. And then, i-develop niya mga produkto gikan sa iyang natural resources and then later on it will be produced in other countries which later on becomes a standardized ano ay mo sang standardized product or commodity. Muna siya ang Heckscher-Ohlin theory. It is based on trade based on abundance of factor endowment. Okay? So, medyo makaingon ko nga dili man necessary nga kung abundant lugar ang imong natural resources, butan ta lang abundant in imong new resources. Kana na lang gyud hanggang basihanan. No? Dili man lang abundance of resources tanaw po nimo dito ang absorptive capacity sa mga tao. No? Kung absorptive, maka-absorb sa capital equipment. Okay? So, there are other theories that are more, I should say more, much improved tayo sa Heckscher-Ohlin theory, kining products cycle theory. The theory is mag-trade daw ang usa ka nasod, duha ka nasod over the life cycle, no? O product life cycle, where the product is developed and then later on it becomes standardized. How? Because of innovation, no? Ginag-innovate tawag na mo gitawag innovative, no? So, are you familiar with product life cycle? Ang product life cycle is na-introduce ang produkto. Unang introduction stage. Then later on, ang product mo develop mo, abot din sa maturity stage. Moabot siya sa rising, no? Rising action na hanggang mo palit. And then it will reach the maturity age and then it will decline. So, ingana daw ang trade. Ingana daw. Once saka pa ang produkto, pa siya sa rising action, daghan kayo imong surplus. Pag abot na sa maturity na siya, because others have developed their own product through innovation, ang mahitabo katong produkto, mahimo to siyang death, no? Mahimo to siyang mawala sa market, gipulihan ng bago. So, muna siya, no? Muna siya ang product life cycle theory. It depends upon unsa ang product life cycle. In one country, for example, let's say product X iyang gi-develop. Then later on nahimo standardize. Then later on nahimo na gid siyang produkto sa tibuok kalibutan. Example, General Electric. Kana General Electric dugay na kanang company to 100 years naman gani sila na dili lang 50 years. So tanawa karon ang mga produkto sa General Electric. You have battleships, you have computer, pulos mga kuan. Although na yung mga bago, na yung mga Samsung, na yung mga nandaay nga produkto sa Japan. Pero tungod kay una sila na standardize, una sila na gitawag nimo na appeal sa human psyche. Nahitabo nga kapaliton gid siya. Kapaliton gid siya sa merkado. Because of this product life cycle. So you see, it is not simply the abundance of natural resources or factor endowment, but rather it's based on innovation, strategy known as innovation, making things new. All right. And then other is, okay, country strategic or similarity theory. Okay, country similarity theory. So, countries with similar per capita income and preferences are expected to trade more, particularly manufactured goods. Katong mga pang manufactured goods. This is the reason why after the collapse of the WTO, pagka-collapse sa WTO, World Trade Organization, balik ka sa ASEAN. Kano sa itong ni-collapse ko mga 1905, collapse ang WTO sa Doha, Qatar Doha. So pagka-collapse sa ato, balik ka sa mga groupings regional. Ang purpose nga, magkapare-parehera ang per capita income, unya nga itong mga taste and preferences are almost the same. We'll trade more with one another, particularly on manufactured products. And then the last one is, the other theory is global strategic rivalry. Ba? This was developed by Krugman and Lancaster. Dili kay ko ganahan aning global strategy kay global man gyud, well in fact we are not actually ah siguro ah, kita member man ta sa ASEAN. ASEAN is comprised of 15 members man siguro. So ang original gid sa ASEAN is 10. O na usual ASEAN 10. Kung base lang gid ani siya ASEAN, which is regional man na siya, per capita income is more or less the same. Pare-pareha. Dayon na itong mga preferences are more or less the same. Mas mutril hinuon og tagan. Pero ang ASEAN membership, ang ASEAN makig-trade po sa non-ASEAN. Unya, ang treatment sa usa ka nasud to non-ASEAN country will be the same for all the others. Will be the same for all the others. Gitawag mo non-reciprocity. So, siguro, pero sa akong pagtanaw, countries nga rich in technology like United States, Japan, and China, sila ginwag hawak ang mga produkto nga capital intensive. Pero sa ASEAN nga kasagara agricultural, kita po maghawak po sa pag-export ng mga agricultural products. And we buy those products that are capital intensive from other countries like United States or Japan or South Korea. So muna gitawag din mo strategic global strategic rivalry, no? Mara mo na siya og kuan ba? Think global, work local. So magtrabaho ka local pero global ang imong intensyon. Ano meaning ani? It is based on strategic positioning among firms and focuses on economies of scale and network, no? So ang ASEAN do na po tayo network sa Mercosur. Ang ASEAN also has network with EU. So ang taga-ASEAN kay naman na land reciprocity equally treat one member of EU the same, no? Pareho lang treatment kay pareho na may non-reciprocity. So parehang treatment. And then the last is kining gitawag nimo og Porter's national competitive advantage. So kani kang Porter medyo overarching kani siya ayo nga theory. It is based on comparative advantage. It depends on demand condition. Dayon support sa gobyerno dito sa industriya. dayon structure sa market, rivalry, and firm strategy of the firm. So far, these are the theories that are makita nimo ni sa textbooks na akong gi-review sa inyo. So take note ani comparative advantage ug absolute advantage, they are almost the same. Only lang nga ang isa comparative, ang isa absolute. No, absolute. Mag-produce ka produkto based on specialization, based on comparative efficiency. While ang comparative advantage is the tendency for a country to export or products that are cheap to produce and then import products that are expensive to produce but cheap from other country. In other words, yung basihan gid sa comparative advantage is cost, no, of production. So that's it, no. Uh, you proceed to uh, national trade. We will proceed to ano. What are the strategies to avoid? As I have said, there are natural barriers. There are barriers to trade. No? What are those barriers? As I've said, there are itawag nimo political boundaries. So, all right, there are at least three barriers of international trade. Number one is pinakadako man gani siguro ni kining gitawag nimo political boundaries, no? Dili ka basta-basta makasulod og usa ka country tungod kay politically it is a sovereign state. Mosulod ka diha, magbayad ka tariff. Or naay mga regulations na before you can embark your products and services, gatanaw ng country of origin. Gatanaw ng country of origin. Pagtanaw sa country of origin, dili nila priority. Mahulog nga kanang imong mga produkto dili gid mahalin kay dili man priority ang country, ang point of origin. So that means nga when it comes to trade, hampered gid kay siya tungod sa political boundaries, no? Tungod sa mga regulation, mahingod sa mahitungod sa protection, tariff, etc. Mahitungod sa politika, kunong matawag nimo political lang gid siguro tungod kay tanawon nimo karon ng conflict sa Asia, no? Kanang South China Sea. dili man economic lang, naipaka-politics na kay gisuportahan mo muna sa mga big giants like China and United States and NATO, no, NATO. So, medyo usa na ka barrier nga dapat i-remove nato. Mo sa yung purpose sa WTO, World Trade Organization nga do na tay harmonization of our export and import at the same time bringing countries together, no? Pero kinahanglan commitment sa mga country. More than 150 man siguro countries kinahanglan mo commit sila kung unsay mga rules, multilateral rules at international trade. So doon lang tayo mga commitment. Kita member man sa WTO pero wala man madugay. I-collapse man ang WTO in Doha 1990 and then balik ka karon sa regional. No, balik ka sa ASEAN, ang uban ni balik sa EU, uban ni balik sa Mercosur, karon na napagin ang BRICS, Brazil. Saan ang BRICS by the way? BRICS is uh, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Oh, the organization nga po na siya. Okay? Purpose, aron ma-remove ni mga political boundaries ng mga barriers, pati ng mga superficial differences. Okay? Now, in order to do that, kailangan tag-instruments, mga instruments of foreign trade policy. So, what are these instruments? Instruments of foreign policy. So, kailangan ta og foreign policy. What are these instruments? Number one, ginana is diplomatic relationship. Ba? May taog diplomatic relation with other countries. Napoy social, napoy economic, and of course, uh, military. Ba? Military instruments, which is very expensive. And then a combination of the rest would be etc. etc. So using this foreign policy, we are able to eliminate, if not reduce, barriers to trade. Such a way nga mo effect yun ang international trade from all over the world. So that ends our lecture. So na ko ni mag-ask pa ko kung ano sa ang midterm. And then kato ko rin yung